So, my friends, the time has come. Available now is Autumn in the Skin, the latest little novel written by yours truly. And let me tell you, it is quite something, I have to say. I'm proud of it. Autumn in the Skin is a weird story, and it's one of the things I like about it is it's maybe the weirdest story I've ever written, being a twisted short novel based on the Crusades of the late Middle Ages, and specifically the campaign for Nicopolis against the Ottoman Turks, led by King Sigismund of Hungary against them. And it ends, of course, with the famous Battle of Nicopolis, not far from the Danube River, which, it's quite a tragic blow to the ego of the crumbling Christendom of that period. But so too is a blow struck against my main character, a cold blooded mercenary named Roderick, and he's in effect no more than kind of a hedge knight, if you will. He's kind of at the start of the book wounded during the fighting at Nicopolis, and he is forced to flee. Much like many of the soldiers in the battle, they fled to the river, and many of them were rather ruthlessly dispatched by the vengeful Ottomans looking to right certain wrongs done against them, and they were quite upset with the Christians then. And so Roderick, he, against all odds, and in some ways even against logic, the laws of physics, time and space and such, he somehow makes it across the river, and he is wounded. And there he finds out that Muslims are the least of his worries. He finds a mysterious village, and if you know anything about geography or politics or geopolitics, you would probably know that the Danube flows through and around all sorts of fun little Eastern European nations, but most important one here is Wallachia. Wallachia, why does that sound familiar? I hear you ask. Well, I mean, you're a smart viewer. You probably know. You're clever enough to figure that one out, surely. But dear Roderick is wounded, and in a small village, he is forced to kind of convalesce, and he's at the mercy of the kindness of these villagers, and also the aid of a visiting, let's call her a wise woman, with some odd connections to Roderick himself. A bit of a synchronicity there, you might say. And all the while, Roderick is kind of overcome with these ideas of grief and guilt, loneliness, and he is severely infected too. So begins to kind of hallucinate. Well, we're not entirely sure what he's seeing in the forest. Giants in the trees, crawling creatures, and winged demons, and the dead do not seem to rest for long in that place. Roderick cannot trust his own senses. He's losing his mind, for lack of a better term, and it's hard to tell what, if anything, is real here. He's experiencing in this bloody, war-torn slice of the nation of Wallachia the creatures and beings and visions that he's not entirely sure are his own wild imaginings or born from something else, something much darker, something evil, and it's it's quite cosmic in some respects. There is a dark force at work in this place, and Roderick quickly comes to realize that all is not as it seems here, even if the wild things that he may very well be imagining are not real. Something is amiss, and I suppose Autumn in the Skin is it's kind of like for anyone who thought that Lost Highway needed swords, or with a dash of like Solomon Kane plus Jacob's Ladder for good measure. Speaking as the author, this book is kind of the only true horror novel that I've written, and it feels, for the most part, very much like a lucid bad dream for me. It nevertheless manages to keep me entertained and keeps me thinking about it. How I developed the weirdness of this short novel, and I wrote the darn thing. But yeah, Autumn of the Skin is available now, and it is pretty darn cheap too. About as cheap as I could price it, and still make something of a profit. Um, it's I certainly hope that you seek it out. I hope that you enjoy it too, or perhaps not. Enjoy it is not the right word. I hope that you are terrified and disturbed and moved by it. That's what I hope, at least. And I'm also curious to let me know what you think of the story and what you think is actually going on in this little trek through the bloodstained wilderness. Until then, bye.